Hey everyone, it's Jay from Paladin. Just wanted to advise everyone we're going to be doing a series on food preps and such called Prepper Pantry. This is going to be kind of a step-by-step guide of what you need to do to look to try and build your food stores in either your home or your bug out location. And the idea is trying to give you some of the tips and tricks that we've learned the hard way. Hopefully you guys won't make the same mistakes that we made. Just going to go through a couple of very simple things just in relation to preps. This video is going to be hopefully few minutes, just going to give you some very quick insight, and then what will happen is after next week we'll start talking about what kind of food you could do and what you're going to be able to do with it. So very simply, a couple of very concepts. I have some shelving here which I use, gives me a brilliant option to be able to kind of look at what I've got. Keeping track of what foods you've got is really important. You don't want 15 bags of flour and you don't want 5 bottles of water. You want to make sure that you've got a level kind of element there where you're going to need water to make things with flour. That kind of, you don't want to end up with your preps lopsided. So it's really important to keep track of it. I would always recommend keeping a log of what you buy, when you buy it, and where you bought it from. It's really important to try and make sure you're keeping that, so then you know you're going to get your stock rotation right as well. Now, for any of you that have ever worked in a shop, I have in my teenage years, stock rotation is really important. So what you're doing is you're bringing the older stuff to the front to be able to use it first, and keeping the newer stuff at the back that has a longer shelf life. Now, as you use it, everything gets moved forward, and the idea is that you're maximising the amount of time the food can be on the shelf for. Now, there's a number of different ways you can do that. Again, things that I find shelving is really useful. If you're using storage containers or anything like that, what I tend to do, work out what tins have got what dates on. I'll often write in the top in permanent marker, and then what I tend to do is bag them up in kind of bin liners or something like that. Length of gaffer tape around the outside and a note on top just to let me know what's in there. And then obviously what I can do is when you pick up that container, open it up, you've got a little inventory and what's in there. You have all of the little bags individually sealed with what's in. So if I've got everything that goes out of date on December 2018 in one area, I know I'm going to use that first over something that has a longer shelf life. So it's really important to get that stock rotation right. There is a way you can do it in any situation, so it is kind of important. It's just about having that discipline to make sure you keep the logs up to date. Other elements I would look at is when you're considering your food, there's a couple of things you need to take into consideration. One, any form of allergies or anything like that. I'm allergic to fish. You will not see any fish products on here. Even though Sarah likes fish, she is not going to be having that in a shit hit the fan situation or anything like that, because I don't want to be in a situation where we have food or any form of cross-contamination that could negatively affect me when I've got, let's say, an option there. Everything in here she can eat, everything in here I can eat. That is the easiest way for it to be. The other thing I would look to do is buy food that you like. It's really important. It's a massive morale boost for you to be able to have something you will actually enjoy or look forward to. In a shit hit the fan situation, positive morale is going to be at an absolute premium, so it's really key for us to be able to have food that we're going to enjoy. Things you're used to, things you like, that kind of thing is really going to have a positive morale effect. The other thing I would look to try and do is actually plan meals. So actually plan a whole meal and what you would have around that. Now the portions might be slightly smaller than what you're used to, that's absolutely fine, but what I would recommend is actually thinking about 5-6 set meals, and it gives you a kind of a blueprint to work from. So I'm looking at this. One of my classics is baked beans and sausages. Single tin, got baked beans and sausage in it, which is a little bit more versatile than just the baked beans on their own. And I've got some dry pasta up here. So I can cook up some pasta, split that tin between me and Sarah. On top you've got like a mini dodgy version of a spaghetti bolognese. Little bit of protein in there, you've got the beans, you've got the pasta for carbohydrates. Good all round meal. Obviously it does give you that kind of morale boost. One of the things that lots of people don't take into consideration is your vitamin intake and stuff like that. So in here we have mixed vegetables, mixed bean salad, so it gives you some options there. Other elements I've got in here like spinach leaves, sliced mushrooms, sweet corn, different types of soup. Obviously it'll all depend on what kind of cooking facilities you're going to have. I'd always recommend not going with things that need to be microwaved or anything like that, because you have no guarantee that the power is going to be on. You don't want to end up in a situation where the power goes out, you're suddenly looking at your preps and realise that you need a microwave to do most of it. This stuff can all be bought, stored, traded, everything like that. It's got a known shelf life, so I can turn around and tell you that the shelf life for this is April 2020. Brilliant. Gives me comfort knowing that I've got food that will last years and I don't have to worry too much about kind of that going out of date anyone soon. The other thing I would recommend is actually having it working as an active larder. So right now, if me and Sarah are cooking a meal, we need something, we will actively come up here and we will use it out of it. The reason for that is we just take a list of everything we've used, put it on a notepad, and then when we go to the shop, we buy replacements for what we've used. What we typically do at that point is look to add extra things to that based on our survival plan, and we're able to look at trying to expand that. We spread the cost out by doing it week by week. So every time we go to Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, any of those shops, we typically buy own brand, and we try to rotate the amount of shops we go to just to try and kind of change the variety. And it also kind of gives you a little sense of what's going on. I know I went to Asda to do a kind of a shop in January, so I've got all these meatballs, soups, tuna, that was all purchased in January. It'll have different sell by dates, but I know typically if I went to Tesco's the following month, I'd have some different options down here. I have got a number of different cooking spices and cooking options down here. So I've got olive oil, balsamic vinegar, I've got kind of yeast, lemon juice, corn flour, sugar, tea, coffee, peanut butter, kind of those kind of elements really are comfort foods to people, and that's going to be really kind of key to make sure that's going on. But it's giving you a couple of simple concepts there. Make sure you've got any medical concerns or anything, that you're not getting caught up with that. Make sure that you end up buying food you like, plan actual meals, and actually go through how you're going to cook them as well. One of the key things that we would obviously always recommend as well is you don't just need to buy food. There's going to be things like dry goods, paper goods and stuff like that, toilet paper. That's a classic. We do cycle that through as well. Just so obviously we're making sure that we've got replacements and an extra surplus of what we need. Key things, you can get massive bulk buy discounts. Things like Tesco vouchers and stuff like that can be used to boost how much food you have if you use them in the correct way. So we've got like up here 3 packets of 3 kilograms a piece. We've got 9 kilograms of pasta up there. I've got a bag of 10 kilograms worth of rice down there. So these are the carbohydrate elements that we would need to try and give us that long energy. And then obviously we have other options. These are essentially things we would add to other meals to be able to bulk them out a little bit. But that gives you a little bit of insight on what we're going to be doing. We're going to be covering everything from actual food, 5-gallon food storage, how to deal with oxygen absorbent, how to seal it. We're going to be covering everything from how to cook it, what kind of things you can prepare yourself. We've got members with dehydrators. We've got members that do their own biltong. We've got members that do their own butchery and stuff like that. So we're going to be going through a lot of different things that you guys will hopefully be able to learn from, and fingers crossed pick up something that might be able to help you improve your plan. Okay guys, well I think I've taken up enough of your time. I'm looking forward to doing this series. It's going to be kind of reflective for me to make sure I'm considering everything that I need to do. If you have anything that you do and you think we should include it, pop it in the comments down below or send me a message and we'll look to include it in a future video. Awesome guys, thanks a lot.